Welcome to the BEASTwriter Family, where social media engagement is encouraged. I'm your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we're going to be talking about the NFC playoff picture, the AFC playoff picture, who has to win, who doesn't have to win. Actually, everyone has to win, duh. Teams that are eliminated, right? So we're going to talk about that and basically how I see the landscape of the entire NFL shaping up. Now, before we go ahead and do that, I just want to say mahalo and thank you to each and every one of you for subscribing to my channel. Just be sure to turn on and flip on the bell notification so you get notified when I go live or when I upload content. I had a conversation with people at YouTube and they said, hey, how's your experience with YouTube? I said, you know what? There's people that turn on the bell notifications and unfortunately, they're not getting notified when I go live or when I upload content and so forth. And they said, huh. They're like, well, did you tell them to switch it on their device? And I said, yeah, I said that. And they're like, huh. Well, maybe if you guys make sure it's on, then maybe you guys will get notified. So hopefully you guys are getting notified. I know some of you guys that were asking weren't getting notified. Now you're getting notified. So I don't know what's going on. But apparently you turn on the notifications, you should be notified. Otherwise, what's the point of turning on notifications? To not be notified? So turn on the notifications. Anyways, we can talk about that later, but just turn on the notifications. If not, obviously we're on Discord. You guys can go to Discord and join the Discord server, and you guys can get notified every time I go live or upload content. If you guys have any questions, obviously you can talk there, or simply just follow me on Twitter. That works too. I mean, there's a lot of social media outlets out there, especially when you live in Silicon Valley, homegrown, where all these social media platforms are on. Instagram, Facebook, Meta, you name it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about what's going on today. I'm really impressed with the Cincinnati Bengals. I want to touch on that topic. I also want to talk about Trey Lance. You know, I was at the gym today, and first thing, I was on the squat rack because I'm going to hit legs really hard, and one of the guys who follows me in the BWF comes up to me first thing, he says, oh, what do you think about Trey Lance? You know, is he ready? Is he not ready? Like, what are your thoughts? And I'm like, man, then you get a set in first. No, but I'm just joking. But I stopped to talk to him and I say, look, this is some things that I'm going to save up for my YouTube channel. So he's like, oh, okay, I'll be watching. So if you're watching, Chris, here we go. We're going to talk about it. All right. Let's get to some of your comments first. Eric Schultz says, first, Donald Johnson from the BEASTwriter Family says, that's my boy, BEASTwriter. Happy New Year. Long time. Haven't been on in a while. Yeah, man, it's been one of those things where, again, I run 70 hours of coaches film a week. That's 10 hours per day. I don't take any days off, and including coaches film from NFL and also college game film. So when I get both sides to that, and you actually get the legwork and do the legwork when the draft comes around, we're already hitting in midseason form. I can tell you who I potentially think will go where based on pre-draft visits. Well, there's not really pre-draft visits, but based on all-star games, you know, you have the GM, you have the scouting department, you have director of college scouts go out to see specific players at specific positions. Now, we can go ahead and talk about that for a later YouTube live stream. But again, we can talk about the cornerback position, how the Niners need a cornerback, but so do the New York Jets, and they hold 2 first-round draft picks, multiple in the top 10, thanks to the Jamal Adams trade tree that just keeps on giving, Seattle Seahawks. And I was posted on heavy.com, and they asked me, said, who do you think the Jets are going to go after? And I said, you know what? They're going to go after Jameson Williams. They're going to take a page out of the Cincinnati Bengals playbook and solidify that trio of wide receivers. And then you can go back to the logic, oh, what about offensive line? Of course, games are won down in the trenches. You build teams from the inside out, not the outside in. But when you can get a generational talent like a Jamar Chase, like I said, when the question was popped to me, if you were 49ers GM John Lynch and you made all those draft picks and you were in that position, who would you pick? I said I wouldn't go with Trey Lance. I would select Jamar Chase. That's what I said. I said he's the best player available. He's a generational talent, in my opinion. I think he's comparable to Reggie Wayne. That was my comp. You know, go back and check out the YouTube live streams, and you guys can see what I had to say about Reggie Wayne comp when it comes to Jamar Chase and how I thought Devontae Smith was also compared to a Hall of Fame player by the name of teammate Marvin Harrison. Now, Kyle Pitts also thought he was a generational talent, so there's no reason not to have them on my big board and not have them all in the top 5. They're all in my top 5, including Najee Harris. He was in my top 5. I didn't have a quarterback in the top 5 on my big board. Micah Parsons also up there. So, here we are today. But let's go ahead and talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to talk about the Niners. We're going to hit that hard. Again, at the gym today was going nuts. Like, I'm serious. Like, you watch NBC Sports, Matt Mayoko is on TV, and then you also turn on to ESPN. You listen on 95% of the game. You listen to all these stations here in the Bay Area, in the South Bay, and so forth, and everyone's talking about what's going on with the Niners, what's going on with the Niners. And then I get to the gym, and it's, how's our cornerback position? Like, what do you think of Trey Lance? It's like, okay, I got to go on and do a live stream. So we're going to go ahead and talk about this, all right? But let's go ahead and touch base on the Cincinnati Bengals, all right? Let's stay on topic. And again, if you have any questions that you want answered, send me those super chat and super stickers, because again, I cover the entire NFL, and this will help keep us on topic, and that way we'll keep the stream flowing and free flowing, because I got to run game grades. Still got like 7 hours of work left to do, because I did hit the gym earlier today. All right, so we're going to talk about it. All right. Again, thank you for everyone who is sending me super chat and super stickers here on YouTube. Also, the donations and tips I've been receiving on Twitter have been absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for everyone's support in the BWF. Really appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and talk about it. I know you guys like these banners, man. And I like these banners too. All right, so the Cincinnati Bengals clinched the AFC North, right? If you guys haven't heard the news, they had a come-from-behind victory against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it was epic. It was one of the most dramatic games I've watched this year. It was amazing how they were down double digits, came back, and won the game. They won the game. And to me, that showed heart. It showed a team that was at the top of the hill, enforcing their will. Hey, look, you want to be the man? You got to beat the man. I'm the man. Kansas City Chiefs are the man in the AFC. No doubt about it. 2019, 2020, here we are in 2021, fighting for a number one seed. Cincinnati says, you know what? I don't care. There's a new sheriff in town. Kind of like with Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson back in 1992 when they had the Barcelona games, Olympic games, right? And they held practice, and Magic Johnson said, you know what? I'm the man. And then MJ says, you know what? BS. I'm the man. And they said, okay, let's prove it. So then divided the teams. Christian Laettner was on the bench because he couldn't help anyone coming out of Duke. Coach K knew it. And so they had their teams. You had Charles Barkley on one side. You had Karl Malone on the other. You had Chris Mullin on Jordan's team, I believe. Scottie Pippen obviously was on Jordan's team. And you had David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, and so forth. So it was very well matched. And Clyde Drexler was going head-to-head against Michael Jordan. Right? And so you saw changing of the guard, so to speak. It was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's the best, right? Best ever. But he had to solidify himself and prove that he was the cream of the crop. I mean, arguably, that was the dream. The dream team is in today would be regarded as the best team ever assembled. You had John Stockton, Karl Malone, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Clyde the Glide Drexler, Larry Bird, right? Christian Laettner, right? You needed that one college prospect, and that was Christian Laettner coming from Duke, right? Number 32. So you had Christian Laettner. There's Charles Barkley, right? If I said Patrick Ewing, I already said Patrick Ewing. So David Robinson, San Antonio Spurs guy. A lot of guys, lefty, right? A lot of guys on that squad, and Jordan just tore it up. But anyways, that's what the Cincinnati Bengals did, right? Playing at home, they were down, but not out. And they showed a lot of heart. And I think that was a playoff game, in my opinion, because even though some people will say there's no such thing as a moral victory, I think there is some substance to having those. Well, in this case, it's not a moral victory because they actually won the game, but it sets a tone for the remainder of the year. And I think when you can beat a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, because talk is cheap, and you actually do it, then it's like, whoa. And then clinch the AFC North. I mean, AFC North is a black and blue division. Let's not get it twisted. You had the Steelers, you had the Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. I mean, come on. All of those teams could easily have made the playoffs. Had it not been for injuries, and who God knows what's going on with Baker Mayfield, but OBJ getting traded to the Rams or off to the Rams, I should say. Yeah, the AFC North is a plug and play playoff bracket. Like, go ahead, pick any of one of those four teams. Two of them are going to make the playoffs, and so that's what you saw. You saw the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, question was popped during the let's rewind a little bit, and during the pre-draft process, and I said, you know what are they going to do with the number 5 pick? And I said, you know what, they're going to go after Jamar Chase. Reunites himself with Joe Burrow, a guy I compared to Reggie Wayne. Yeah, you couldn't gone after Penei Sewell, but you go after the best player available. To me, it was Jamar Chase based on the mock drafts and how I saw my mock draft playing out. You guys know how I am and how accurate I am with my mock drafts. Evident by doing bicep curls every time I got the pick right, and I almost threw up eating pizza on the other hand. Jamar Chase, to me, look at his stat line. All right, look at his stat line. Look at Jamar Chase. Look at what he's doing. Right, let me just pull up the stats for you. Right, Jamar Chase. First of all, you need a trio of wide receivers in today's NFL. You already have slot wide receiver Tyler Boyd, one of the best slot receivers in the game. Tweeted this out ever since he came into the L. Awesome, right? Then you have T. Higgins. Awesome, right? And so you solidify that, making the strength a bigger strength, because you don't want to diminish the value of the pick by reaching for need for an offensive tackle that, when you look at the tiers, kind of like in fantasy football, you guys all know this, just because you have a guy in a certain tier, if a guy is way above in that tier, you're going to take that player, right? Tier 1 or tier 2, however you guys want to say it, wherever you guys are drafting. So that's why you went after Jamar Chase, and that's why they did that. You have a trio of wide receivers now. Now, Jamar Chase had 13 touchdowns. He also, if I'm not mistaken, had 255 receiving yards in that game. It's 266. 266 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns against the Kansas City Chiefs. No one can stop him. Outside the numbers to the boundary, no one can stop him. You have a single high safety? Go ahead. You play 2 deep safeties? Go ahead. Jamar Chase is going to come down with the football. From the numbers to the boundary. I'm telling you, he can be double teamed. He'll still make a play on the football. That's exactly what you saw. Currently, let's look at his stat line. All right, he has 79 catches for 1,429 yards, right? 1,429 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns. If that's not a first-team All-Pro level, I don't know what it is. Now, last year we saw what happened with Justin Jefferson and why I said the Niners should have went ahead and traded down, drafted Justin Jefferson if they weren't going to go ahead and stick at 13 and select Tristan Wirfs. I said all this before they even struck the trade, trading from 13 to 14 with the Indianapolis Colts. All right, this is all in real time. All right, now we can see what's happening in hindsight for a different story. But you can see what's going on with them. Right? You have a trio of wide receivers. You have Joe Mixon, one of the top 5 running backs in the NFL. The question mark seems to be the offensive line, because Joe Burrow gets rattled. He gets sacked a lot. Like, I think he has been sacked like 50 plus times. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's been sacked like 50 some crazy number. It's like the Derek Carr days when it comes to Joe Burrow being sacked. And again, people were saying, oh, they're going to go after Penny. So I was like, nah, they're not. You cannot go away and not select Jamar Chase. Like, if I was sitting in that scouting department, or if I was on a scouting department sitting in that war room, and then someone came to me and said, hey, look, like, we're thinking about drafting this Pac-12 kid out of Oregon. And I'm like, nah. We're going after Jamar Chase. He has a rapport with Joe Burrow already, so you guys already know how that works out. Oh, but he took a year off. He didn't play. So what? I don't care. I can care less. He was the best wide receiver in 2019 when Devontae Smith also had a good year in 2019, and so did a few other Alabama wide receivers coming out of that draft with Jerry Jeudy and so forth. All right, so here we are today. Jamar Chase, baller. We think we know where he's going, right? Again, you throw to the numbers to the boundary. No defensive back can climb the ladder, can win at that catch point, has the physique to box out and get in front and then make a play on the football. You just don't do it. You can't do it. It's near impossible. And with that deep speed, taking the top off the defense, stacking that boundary cornerback on top, getting that extra separation that you need for Burrow to throw in the breadbasket, holla at your boy, game over. All right? The weakness tends to be the offensive line, because if you remember, and I talked about this on earlier live streams, how when Riley Reef resigned, I was like, oh, that's a sign that they're definitely not going to go after P.J. Sewell because they have Jonah Williams there. Roll Tide Roll, Jonah Williams, blindside left tackle. I believe they drafted him, 14th overall? Been injured a little bit, but Jonah Williams, hey, I like him. This offseason, they're going to have to solidify that offensive line. No question about it. But they're getting by just enough simply because the wide receivers win their one-on-one battles, and Joe Burrow doesn't have to hold back going through his progressions, because, again, if you're matched up one-on-one more times than not with Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, or Jamar Chase, I mean, put Drew Sample in there, the backup tight end. Not even talking the starting one. Uzoma, right? Or I cannot pronounce his last name, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough against that Bengals offense. And then you want to double down on those gains, right? You want to double down on those gains. It's a mix and match. And I'm not talking about a play of words of Joe Mixon. I'm talking about what we're seeing here with what the Bengals did, right? And I talked about this, and I talked about the veteran free agents that they already had and the veteran players that they drafted, right? So it's a good mix and match. Any good GM will tell you this. You build through the draft, right? And then you complement those homegrown talented players through free agency. Meaning you don't just buy players and hoping to collect as much talent as you can, because you have to see if these guys fit your scheme and they can work cohesively in a unit for the team to thrive. It's not as much as collecting talent as it is building a football team. All right? That's my belief. All right? And you saw that. They needed a pass rusher. Oh, Carl Lawson not going to be there because he's off to the New York Jets. See ya. We're going to bring in Trey Hendrickson from the New Orleans Saints. We're going to kill two birds with one stone, getting Cleveland Browns, Larry Ogunjobi, and bring him here to the Cincinnati Bengals. Seize the day. Let's rule the jungle. Then you get Chidobe Awuzie, who just lives in my backyard, playing at Oak Grove High School, San Jose product. Goes off to play at Colorado, plays for the Dallas Cowboys, and then they sign him, teaming him up with an already nice secondary with Jesse Bates III. You guys know how I feel about him on BWF grading system, along with guys like Von Bell out of Ohio State, who they got from the New Orleans Saints a couple years prior. The recipe for success is there. And then you have Logan Wilson, leads the team in INTs with 4. All right? He was out, so who do you roll in? Bocce. I talked about him on my earlier YouTube live streams, and actually I think it was his cousin or his mom, someone chimed in on it and was like, whoa, you're talking about my nephew or son or whoever. It was a relative. I forgot it. It was during the draft. I said, yeah, I think he's going to be a good player. Good special teams ace. The kicker to me is Mike Hilton. Here's a nickelback that plays similar to K'Waun Williams, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You can talk about the guy, obviously that Colts more, right? You can talk about more as well. These guys have the ability to be an extra run defender, be a blitzer off the edge. They really set a specific amount of game planning because you never know what they're going to do in certain short distance situations or situational football. If it's third and short, okay, you're playing trips formation to the left or to the right, depending on play side or the hashes, obviously. Is this guy going to be blitzing? Is that safety going to come up and take his spot in a rotation? What's going to happen? You always got to be mindful of that. And that's why Mike Hilton is one of the best in the game at being an extra run defender, being a blitzer. Wore number 28 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. For all you Steelers fans, want to know who I'm talking about? Now he's wearing number 21 with the Cincinnati Bengals, right? Team up with guys like Jesse Bates III, Von Bell, Sam Hubbard, one of the most underrated players on any defensive line. Again, we're talking about players here. We're just not naming players off a roster. We're talking about having good depth. You need to have good depth in a deep playoff run. Unfortunately, the Cincinnati Bengals' Achilles heel tends to be their offensive line. But aside from that, I think they're looking strong. Now, they currently hold the number 3 seed. And when they hold the number 3 seed and they have to go and get a win at Cleveland to solidify that third spot, I can see that happening. So, again, we don't know what's going on, how it's going to play out, but I'm really excited with the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, if you remember, we had my man Randy Miller on here, and we talked about our Super Bowl predictions. I think it was like week 5, week 6. And I said, we both agreed. We're like, it's going to be a rematch of what? The 1993 Super Bowl in Pasadena, where Michael Jackson did the halftime show saying, heal the world, Buffalo Bills versus Dallas Cowboys. That's what we said, I think, during week 5, week 6. Or somewhere near the midway point. I am now switching that picks. Obviously, injuries have taken a toll, right? Chris Godwin out. You have players like Michael Gallup out for the Dallas Cowboys. You have guys like Tre'Davious White, all-pro cornerback, out for the Buffalo Bills, who really mirrored opposing teams' wide receivers. So that takes a huge amount of game planning out from the secondary because no longer do you have that shutdown true cornerback. Which is why I'm now rolling and going back to the roots of Super Bowl I. I am going with the Kansas City Chiefs being the AFC champs and playing the Green Bay Packers. Save the last dance for Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers. I mean, is there any 1-2 combo in this league that's better than Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers? I mean, they are so on point that fundamentals, you can play fundamentally sound against Davante Adams and still lose. You can do everything right, be on the hip of the receiver, be in a great position to make a play on the football, and you still won't be able to make a play on that football. Why? Because Aaron Rodgers is very smart at throwing to a spot, and Davante Adams is also in tune at not putting his hands up until the very last second when it's too late. Now, football is a team sport, but can't go wrong with the Green Bay Packers. Can't go wrong with the Green Bay Packers. Can't go wrong with the Kansas City Chiefs. I still think the Chiefs are going to be able to win it because if they have home field advantage, if they wrap up the number 2 seed, I don't think the Tennessee Titans will be strong enough to get out of the divisional round whoever they play. I think the Patriots are going to beat them if they play them based on the seeding today. And I think that's going to be an upset there. I think the Kansas City Chiefs will then gain home field advantage, and their defense is different now with the trade of Melvin Ingram from the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 24. Remember, they went ahead and signed Jarran Reed from the Seattle Seahawks and teamed him up, hoping that Chris Jones could move outside to defensive end. What happened is now that recipe for success didn't work so hot. So now you kick Chris Jones back inside, and then you roll in Melvin Ingram. Now you have something to work with. And we're seeing it. At home, the Kansas City Chiefs are averaging a scoring defense of only 14.8 points per game allowed. At home. I'm riding that. Defense wins championships. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm going to roll with that. And I'm going to roll with Pat Mahomes. I'm just going to do it. Now, here we are. If someone gets injured, that's going to change the whole landscape of things, obviously. So we're going to have to see how this plays out next week. But that's how I see it playing out. Now let's go ahead and talk about the San Francisco 49ers, Trey Lance. Kim Ferrison says, Hola, Beast. How you doing, my Hofstra product? Randy C415 says, hey, Beast, Happy New Year, brother. Jimmy Ortega, get off and get back on. Let's try it. Just kidding. Just kidding. Roman Pro says, show us the BWF t-shirt. Yeah, this is the BWF t-shirt. If you guys want to support, throw me a DM and we can get this out to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love and support. Joshua, the Bucks fan Logan says, hey, legends. Randy C. Trey will start this week. Cook and Smoke Sports says, what up, Beast? All right, we're getting okay. Jerry Yang says, Happy New Year. How are you doing? All right, let's go ahead and talk about Trey Lance for a second. We're just going to talk about Trey Lance because I want to talk about Trey Lance. Trey Lance had an okay game. I'm not going to sit here and say he had a grade of an A. I'm not going to say that. After watching again, I don't run coach's film and have a grade on a player until I watch coach's film. Like it does, it gives you guys no substance in watching the broadcast view and be like, oh yeah, that was a great play. Be like, or that was a bad play. Like, how can you know that without getting all 22? You don't. It's impossible. You can't do it. So that's why I wait until today when coach's film comes out to really put a grade on a player. All right. To me, Trey Lance comes with mixed reviews. All right. Comes with mixed reviews in the BWF grading system. He left some plays on the field. He did some things well. All right. For a second start, very, very impressed. But then again, it was a mirror of two different halves. It was a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of a deal. First half, what the heck are we seeing? What are we doing? As Julian Edelman will say on Inside the NFL. What are we doing? What are we doing? Second half. Oh, running some naked bootlegs. Okay, I see you. Running play action pass. Okay, he's getting more comfortable. Finds Debo off naked bootlegs. Okay, cool. Boom. Deep gain. Holla at your boy. So, in a nutshell, Trey Lance comes with mixed reviews. I don't do the minus or pluses in a grading system. I just go A, B, C, D, F. All right. So if I was to run a letter grade on it, I'd give him a B. Solid B. Now, he threw one interception. It should have been three. Should have been three interceptions, not one. I mean, those That's why those guys play defense, because they can't catch the damn ball. Had he thrown those 2 picks, which he didn't, so that's why he has a grade of a B, but had he thrown those 2 picks, D, would have been a D, right? Because I don't think the Niners would have won that game having him throw 2 picks. Against the Texans, one of the worst teams in the league, by the way. I mean, name 10 players on that team. I'll wait. All right? So you look at it for what it's really worth, and then you look at his stat line. Don't be a box score reader, but I'm just going to throw in those stats. 16 of 23 for 249 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception for a passer rating of 116. Not bad. Not bad. All right. What you saw was Kyle Shanahan opening up the playbook and tailoring to Trey Lance's strengths, minimizing his weaknesses. When you roll out and run the naked bootleg, it opens up the play action pass, obviously, but also opens up the route running because now your focus is on one side of the field. Because when you run that play action pass, obviously you're running that naked bootleg and you're coming around the other formation, and now you can see and you can scan half of the field instead of seeing the whole entire field. It's a risk versus reward type of a deal because any defense will tell you this. If you can cut the field in half, that's a win for the defense. But again, if you're Trey Lance and you have a young quarterback and you're just starting your second NFL game, that could be a blessing in disguise because now you minimize the progressions, and now instead of going through 4 or 5 progressions, you're only going through 2 or 3. And you saw the success there. All right. So I'm really impressed with Trey Lance. I don't know if you guys are, but I tweeted this out. I still don't think he's ready. I think that Jimmy Garoppolo should be the starter against the LA Rams because if I'm the LA Rams, I wouldn't want to start against Jimmy Garoppolo. I'd rather start against Trey Lance. And it comes down to scheme. They know each other very well. And ultimately, Kyle Shanahan, if Trey Lance starts, has to throw in some trick plays to get those guys on their heels. You got Von Miller there. He's not going to be fooled by anything. He's going to stay home off those zone reads. You have Leonard Floyd on the other side, former first-round pick out of the Chicago Bears. I think it was drafted number 8 by Ryan Pace. Hit him with body analysis, and then he's now off to the LA Rams, but you guys see what he's doing. We already have Aaron Donald. Sebastian Joseph Day is there. We already have him there. Jalen Ramsey on the back end is there. Taylor Rapp is there. So all those guys mentioned are very smart players. It's going to be interesting seeing how this one plays out. John Zach says, Burrow's sack percentage actually went up this year. I saw a stat line where it was 7.4. This year is 8.9, something like that. Crazy. Yep. Crazy. All right. So let's go ahead and talk to, well, this is a live stream, guys. Let's talk to 49ers Ultimate Report. How are you doing today, man? I think you're muted.
Yeah, my bad.
Man, it's like I can hear you. No. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I hope you're doing good too, man.
I'm always doing well. I hope you're doing well. I just got back from the gym and I said, I got to hop on this live stream because people were coming up to me before I even started my workout. Literally, I go in, I'm like, I'm going to hit legs super hard today. I'm going to be in the zone. I came in if you guys follow me on Instagram, I came in my throwback Russell sweatshirt. You guys remember Russell Athletics? The sweatshirt, the blue sweatshirt. I had that on, incognito. And still people recognize me, maybe because I put it on Instagram. But they were like, hey, what's going on with the Niners? What do you think of Trey Lance? What do you think they're going to beat the Rams? Like, what's going to happen with the Saints? I'm like, man, there's a lot to discuss. Everybody has an opinion on something, and it's good. I think it's really good for the NFL. I think it's good for us. At the end of the day, we're going to talk about Trey Lance and how he has fared. Again, it comes with mixed reviews from me. I think at the end of the day, he got lucky. I tweeted this out as in real time. I said, hey, those 2 picks should have easily turned into 3, right? And so when you see that, and these are simple reads. These are not complicated reads. They're not inverting the coverage in any way, shape, or form. It's a simple read. And he's just undercutting or underthrowing. The ball doesn't come out as it should. He has a really long, and I'm not a quarterback guru, okay? So correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But to me, I played, and whenever you throw a football or throw a basketball or pass a basketball or whatever sport it is, or baseball, right? We always talk about throwing motions, right? And I'm not going to talk about, the motion that he should have, because look, he wouldn't be in the position he is today if he wasn't, he wasn't good at what he did. I don't care. You could be like Jamal Wilkes and or Rick Barry and throw underhand as long as it goes in. I don't give a crap. But to me, he's telegraphing his passes, and I think that's a concern for the safeties. Because again, if you're telegraphing your passes and then you have a long windup and then you deliver the throw, or if you tap the football before you're going to throw that football, those are all tells. Those are poker tells, right? You can tell from a game of poker who's bluffing and who's not. You pick up tendencies, you ask them questions. They get nervous, they lay back, they sit back. Oh, they have a strong hand. Or do they get fidgety with their fingers, right? Oh man, this guy's nervous. The clock is ticking on this guy. So then you get information from these people, right? Same exact thing with NFL, right? Pre-snap, you see a lot of things. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen, if their knuckles turn white, that means they're going to pin their ears back and they're going to go after the quarterback, right? These are all things you look for. Sign language, you look at that. Oh, twist formation to the left. Okay, the guy's doing this. That means he's going to say, hey, if that inside receiver goes out, that's my assignment, and you have to take my guy who comes inside. These are just things that I see when I run all 22 on the NFL. So, to you, what do you think, if you had to put a grade on it? Now, I'm not sure if you did already, but what do you think of Trey Lance performance in Week 17?
Well, he played much better than he played versus the Cardinals. There were some throws that I saw that you could tell he needs more improvement. The interception that he threw, the receiver was, behind the defender, and I think he underthrew it or whatever, the terminology is called. He did miss some throws, so there were some rookie mistakes, and then of course early in the game, those running, plays, really drove me nuts. But as the game progressed, you saw him, get into a tempo. Near the end of the half, he had that drive, that got the 3 points. I'm not going to give him a very high grade like some fans are giving him an A. I'm still giving him a B, because he played much better. I'm just basically going from the last game he played to this game. So that's the grade that I gave him.
Look, I keep in touch with some really high people inside the 49ers organization, as well as some former 49ers who are on some Super Bowl teams. And they were tweeting me, and they were also messaging me here as the game was unfolding. And we were talking about, our thoughts. What are your thoughts as this game is unfolding? Hey, I'll just tell you straight up. I would say 75% of the people on these Super Bowl teams are on Trey Lance. They said, you know what? Like, he has a lot to learn. He's not where he needs to be. He's not where he should be, even for a rookie. And again, it goes back to making mental errors as far as playing those cover shells. I mean, you cannot have a trajectory where it's hitting the underneath defender in the breadbasket. Like, you need to have the touch to throw it over that underneath defender and inside the breadbasket. Now, it's easier said than done. Come on. I mean, for anyone, and again, this is his only second start. The sample size is small, but the things that are concerning are the fundamentals. And again, it comes down to if he is the future, because he is. Let's not get it twisted. He's going to be the future. You don't trade up 3 first-round draft picks for a guy and have him ride the pine or go after another quarterback. But at what point do you say, okay, for this year, Jimmy Garoppolo gives us the best chance to win? And I'm a firm believer in that. I think if he's healthy and ready to go, Jimmy Garoppolo should be given the keys, at least for the end of the year. I don't think there's enough sample size to pull from to where you can really be confident in Trey Lance. Because if I'm looking at the film that I saw, and that was a good, strong body of work, because let's be honest, that was a playoff game going up against one of the worst defenses in the entire NFL. And I'm the Rams, and I'm looking at this and say, you know what? Now we're gonna make this look like a preseason game. We're gonna go ahead and invert some coverages. We're gonna throw out blitzes, unlike the preseason. We're gonna throw a lot at this guy at the kitchen sink. A lot of fire zone blitzes. You don't know where the blitz is coming from. And you see it. Von Miller, a lot of times, I run coaches film on that. A lot of times he's dropping back in coverage. I shouldn't say a lot, but time to time he'll be dropping back in coverage. Von Miller, a pass rusher, really dropping back in coverage, hey, if you can take away that instant progression and then you have a rookie quarterback behind center, you have him rattled. These are things that I look for. These are things that I see. What is going on with Jim Harbaugh? These are some things that are concerning to me because Jim Harbaugh might be returning to the NFL. That's the rumor. And here in my notes, I look at the Las Vegas Raiders, Chicago Bears. I look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm joking. Not the Jacksonville Jaguars, because Trent Baalke would never be okay with that. I worked with both while as a beat writer, and it was very toxic. And I talked about this on numerous occasions. I didn't even like going to work at Levi Stadium every single day, waking up and hearing stories and seeing things. But Jim Harbaugh, could he be back in the NFL? And would you think he'll be accepting to possibly work for the Chicago Bears or the Las Vegas Raiders or even possibly the New York Giants, for that matter? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm actually, this is kind of weird, this topic, pops up because I was talking to a community of Bears fans, a little podcast, and one of the guys who actually knows his stuff, he actually says the same thing you do about their, general manager. So, that's coming from a
that he's out.
Yeah.
I said he was out before the year started. I said, man, this guy's going to be out.
Yeah.
This guy's going to be out. So what are your thoughts, though? Like, what are your thoughts on that? I want to know what you think on Jim Harbaugh.
Piggybacking from what he says is that the Chicago Bears are heavily, trying to reach out to Jim Harbaugh and his people because there's some.
Who's this guy? Is he a beat writer? For the team?
No. He does a podcast. It's called a Main Event, podcast.
Oh, but is he like so he's not a beat writer? Is he cover like for Sports Illustrated or anything, or is it just a podcaster?
It's just a podcast for the Bears.
Oh,
it's not very big. It's not on YouTube or nothing. But
it's not on YouTube at all. Okay, I was wondering because that's interesting that the Bears are already reaching out. That's what he's saying. I mean, that's strong sourcing right there. If that is indeed the case, that would be some strong. Now I know for a fact that 99.9% sure, I'm pretty sure Ryan Pace is out, but who knows? It has to happen. But Jim Harbaugh already in talks with Chicago. That's what you're saying from this guy, from this podcaster. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
that's a strong source.
He's very legit. He knows his stuff. He covers a team, all that stuff. But he doesn't work with them. Mostly independent stuff. But
I would want to know who this guy is because that's interesting. That's like honestly, if he hits it, man, hey, that's some strong sourcing there.
Yeah.
That's one of those things where it's like, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he's not right. I don't know who this guy is, but hey, I will just say this: like it's still early. It's still early.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's still early.
That to me, that almost goes with the thinking like that's their guy, if what in fact this guy is saying is true, which I'm not sure because I don't know that. I'm not gonna assume, but that's almost saying like, hey, that Jim Harbaugh is our guy. So I want to go. I would be careful about that, but hey, time will tell. I mean, he could be. He played for the Chicago Bears, for crying out loud, right? What about Las Vegas Raiders? What do you think about them?
I'm not 100% sure if that's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen after the season ends for that organization because after what happened earlier in the year, like anything is possible. Like anything can happen. But to be completely honest, I'm not really sure if that's an option. But like I said, I know there's going to be a lot of NFL teams that are going to be reaching out to him and. Like if he does go to the Raiders, they do have a quarterback, they do got, some pieces around, it's hard to tell. I never make any speculations when it comes to hiring coaches.
I would think the Las Vegas Raiders would be a prime opportunity for Jim Harbaugh, and I'll tell you why. Having covered him and knowing him personally. Not saying it's going to happen. I still think Michigan, it could be leveraging for Michigan for a new contract. Who knows? Maybe he wants more money after. You never know what's going through his head. But if I was Jim Harbaugh, I would say, look, okay, if the Vegas Raiders were actually a team that I'm interested in, what makes it attractive? Like, what's the competitive advantage of me going with the Las Vegas Raiders over the Chicago Bears? One, you have Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas. It's gorgeous, right? You have the talent. I mean, there's some talented players. You have Derek Carr. You have Hunter Renfro. You have a lot of guys, Josh Jacobs. Roll Tide, roll Josh Jacobs, right? First round pick. You have some key pieces there. Obviously, you drafted Alex Leatherwood. He's all right, but whatever. You drafted him in the first round. You still have some guys there that you had to kick into guard, obviously, but there's still some guys there. And then the main attraction is this. There's going to be a power struggle no matter where Jim Harbaugh goes. It's not a secret. Jim Harbaugh will have to have some type of power in terms of making some executive decisions in terms of like player personnel. All right. Same thing with Trent Baalke, right? Trent Baalke and Jim Harbaugh, they butt heads, right? Because, I want this guy, I want this guy. Okay, well, you should play this guy. You shouldn't play this guy, right? Same exact thing happens. I think working with Mike Mayock could be a good thing because Mike Mayock had to take a back seat to John Gruden. So his job title or job description may say GM, but whoever comes in, if it's Jim Harbaugh, that changes the landscape of everything. I will say this. I hope that Eric Bieniemy, if the Las Vegas coaching job is available, I hope he gets it. I hope he gets the Las Vegas Raiders job, and I'll say why. Or even over Jim Harbaugh, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that he's well overdue. I don't think that's anyone's guess. He's well qualified, and you'll be killing two birds with one stone by staying within the division. You take away the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator, bring him in and rolling him onto the other side to a division rival. Now within the division, you're not playing any guesswork. You already know what you're going up against. He can build his team, his staff from the inside out. He has a very strong network from what I'm hearing. Never met the guy, but that's from what I'm hearing. All points, I think that'd be a prime example. I'd be a Raiders fan. I tell you what, I'd be a Raiders fan if Eric Bieniemy was a head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. So wherever he goes, I'm a fan of him. I'm a huge fan of Eric Bieniemy. He should be a head coach. He should be the first candidate over a guy like Jerry Yang. Our man Jerry Yang says, you hear about Bill O'Brien being considered for the Jacksonville job. Big. Yeah. Roll Tide, roll, stay away from my OC. You guys know who Bill O'Brien is. You know who Bill O'Brien is, right? John J?
Yeah.
Okay. So rumor has it that GM Trent Baalke is pushing for BOB. I guess you can go after Bill O'Brien. I mean, he would be someone to consider because he is an offensive guru. We can kind of see what he's doing with Bama. You saw what he did in previous years. Very good at how should I say this? Very good at developing quarterbacks, and I think that's what GM Trent Baalke is looking for. Whoever comes in. I mean, again, I know Trent Baalke personally. I don't know how he thinks on that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what he's thinking. Like, I'm not freaking, what do you call it? Telepathy or whatever it's called, right? Where you read someone's mind. I'm not like that. But I will tell you this. I think the guy who's coming in has to understand the quarterback position and get Trevor Lawrence going in the right direction. Now, there's a lot of holes there. You have Linder there. You have Norwell there. Cam Robinson's there. But again, you need to... What's going to happen with James Robinson? Travis Etienne. What's going to happen with him? You drafted him and he got injured. So what's going to happen with Travis Etienne? What's going to happen with Robinson? What's going to happen with Laviska Shenault, who you drafted? How are you going to use him? Is DJ Shark coming back, right? The LSU products. Is he coming back? He's been injured. A lot of different things. When you go into a situation like that and you're the new head coach and looking at the personnel side of it and say, hey, look, okay, what's our 5-year vision? Like, what's our 2-year vision? What's our 3-year vision? What's our business plan? And you have to think of it that way and say, hey, look, this is what we have to do. This is how many draft picks we have. This is who's coming up for free agency. I kind of want these guys. What are your thoughts? I don't think GM Trent Baalke is going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, I think it's okay. He's like, nah, man, it's my show. I call the shots. All right, Dennis Everett says, Sakamoto, I followed you for probably 4 years, and it obsessed me because we should be talking about Kyle's game management during the Titans and his last game. Thank you so much, Dennis. I appreciate the love that you've been following me for 4 or 5 years, whatever, 4 years. Let's talk about that. Okay, let's talk about Kyle's game management during the Titans and even the last game. What is your perception on Kyle's game planning Is it poor? Is it fair for us as fans? Because it's always easy for us. I like to look at it from both sides. Now, I couldn't do it. But again, I don't get paid millions of dollars to make those play calls. But what are your thoughts, John Jay, on the clock management, chasing points? I think the ego, and I said this time and time again, Kyle Shanahan has a big ego. He's very egotistical. He likes to chase points. He shouldn't do it. Shouldn't go on fourth down. Horrible. What are you doing? Like Julian Edelman would say on my favorite show, Inside the NFL, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I am actually one of like a big critic on how Kyle calls plays like during the year.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of games where I was like, they're doing too many shotguns. Jimmy, did not feel comfortable on some of the plays in the year. It was very, confusing. There were games where we like were just passing, and forgetting
Right.
about the run game, and it was driving me nuts. And like like early in the year, that's why the Niners were how they were, because they were losing a lot of games because I think Jimmy is not meant to play a certain style. And then when Elijah Mitchell, especially against the Colts game, a good example, Elijah Mitchell in that drive had 68 yards, and then we stopped using them, for whatever the reason. I don't know if the Colts adjusted, but like, against the Cardinals, when Trey Lance was starting, he ran 16 times on Trey Lance, but we only used Elijah Mitchell 9 times.
Yeah.
It was so
Yeah.
confusing. And so I was talking a lot of smack, on my channel about, Kyle, what is he doing? So, like I was very confused what he was doing this year. So I'll be completely honest. I did not like the play calling earlier in the year.
Hmm. Hmm. I think a lot of people and a lot of fans share your mindset. I'm one to think that Kyle Shanahan, and again, I think he's very egotistical. It's he is, but that's what makes him great. I think his ego gets the best of him sometimes. I think when you have a strong ego like that and you're chasing points when the need isn't there, going on fourth down when the need isn't there because you're killing field position, valuable field position, that's going to hurt your team in the end. And we've seen it almost happen against Seattle. We've seen it happen almost against the Houston Texans. Almost, football's a game of inches. And if you are going to make these analytical decisions and say, oh, fourth and look, you have a rookie quarterback. You shouldn't be going for it on 4th and 1 if you didn't get the first time. Which makes you think you're going to get the second time? They're crowding that line of scrimmage, and you're not going to get anywhere. You're crowding that line of scrimmage. John Zach says Kyle sees a 5-man front or 6 front and says I can't run. Yes, you can. You can. His play calling, and it's been average at best. See, everyone's in line with your thinking. I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people. A lot of John Zach here in the BWF is in line with your thinking. Look, I think it's easy for any of us to kind of compare the play calling, but I've never been an offensive coordinator. I've never been a positional coach. I've never been a head coach for that matter. So, in hindsight, it's easy for all. I'm not defending Kyle Shanahan. Look, like I said, I think he's dumb. If dumb is a term that I should be using, I think I shouldn't say dumb. He's wrong. I think he's wrong in chasing points and going for fourth and whatever. I don't think you do that when the need isn't there, especially early on in the football game. When in the game of football you have to play all 4 quarters, and if you're on the defensive side of that, you're looking at this like, dude, why are you putting us in a compromised position? Like, just kick the ball. Like, just give it to him. But again, yeah, I think some of Kyle Shanahan's play calls are questionable. I do. I agree with all you guys on that. I think that some plays that he puts out there is obvious. I think we all know where the ball is going. Outside zone runs, especially left or right side. Usually the left side if they need a power run. And they do a lot of window shopping, a lot of eye candy with Deebo Samuel on the orbit motions, jet sweeps, and so forth. But again, could I do it? No, I can't do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be having this YouTube channel. So I think it's easier said than done. John Zach says he has 4th and 1 few times and goes for it, misses, but has 4th and inches and punts. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, and that's happened a lot. Just like John Zach said, yeah, like that play against the Cardinals, where Kyle Juszczyk hikes the ball and he gets stopped. He doesn't even get any type of yardage. I don't know if he called that or if some people said, that, Kyle jumped, check jumped the gun or whatever the play was. That was just, like something that wasn't smart. Of course, the Trey Lance, like trying to run it on fourth down instead of kicking the field goal, that's another situation. So, and then of course, I guess the Titans game, he decides to go for it. Jimmy throws it bad, whatever the reason, or Ayuk drops or whatever. I don't know why. He does that a lot for whatever the reason. So I don't know. Like just like you said, like I'm not saying that I can do what he does, but at the same time, you're watching the game. You're like, all right, be smart, don't do nothing. But for whatever the reason, maybe he sees something that we fans don't see, but it's just confusing. The stuff that he decides to do.
It's going to be interesting against the Rams because, again, I talked to my man Randy Cross, and again, if you guys are just tuning in, me and Randy Cross, if you guys know who he is, 49ers all-time great offensive lineman, the best offensive lineman to ever play for the 49ers, obviously. But Randy Cross and me have a pregame show on the Relevant app that we just released for the Houston Texans pregame, and it's something that I wanted to bring up because Randy Cross and I spoke about this and spoke about the Rams in this upcoming matchup already. Here we are in Houston. I was like, let's do some forward thinking, Randy. And we talked about it. Said, look, like when it comes to the Rams, obviously the 49ers have their number, but how do you see this game playing out? And it comes down to a number of different things. Obviously, we can talk about execution, we can talk about X's and O's, but I think a lot of it has to come down to the play calling, right? How is the play calling going to be? Because you already know what the opposing offense is going to do. You already know how the defense is going to play their cover shells based on down and distance. Randy said trick plays. He said in these games, you're going to see some trick plays because everybody, like you said, everyone knows, what you're doing. But the trick plays, we saw it with the Seattle Seahawks. Remember on special teams, Travis Homer, boom, special teams, boom, goes for a touchdown. Pete Carroll, NFC West. So trick plays are something, we've seen it early on. Remember when, Jeff Fisher was the head coach of the St. Louis Rams at the time. And you're going up against, and we had Cedric Wilson back in the day. I think it was like 2005, 2006. We had that guy out of Tennessee. We had a few players during those times when the Niners weren't very good, but you always saw trick plays out of Jeff Fisher. Always, and especially on special teams. Oh, the punter's going to throw for a first down. Okay, cool. We got to account for that maybe next time. Yeah, I think in this upcoming matchup, we're going to see some trick. Randy said, look out for trick plays. Look out for plays that are thinking outside the box. And I think that's going to separate the teams who are disciplined and stay home on their assignment or teams that just sell out. And again, when you have guys like Eric Armstead who sell out on the pass rush and leave a lot of run fit integrity, I talked about this on earlier live streams with Randy, and we're talking about this. Look, you can't be doing that. Now Matthew Stafford's not a mobile quarterback. He's not going to beat you with your legs, but he can at least manipulate the pocket and throw for first downs. But to Randy's point, Matthew Stafford has not been playing well. He's not been playing well. Do you think the 49ers are going to beat the Rams because they do have their number?
Yeah, for whatever the reason, like last year, we beat them, when we were hurt, and we barely beat them, also. Last year, we beat them this year when we were, like when there was nothing to play for. Well, we beat them. So I don't know if, if just like, some NFC West, podcasters who talk about for whatever reason, each team owns another team for whatever the reason. I don't know if we just own the Rams in general, but at the same time, it's any given Sunday. I know that they're going to try this time to make sure that they're beat us because they're also playing for a division. We're also playing. So, both of us have a lot to play for. So I'm a person that never, ever says that we're going to beat them just because we've won 5 or 6 games in a row, whatever the number is against the Rams, because any streak, does end. So, like, I would like to see the 49ers win, but I'm also a type of person that let's watch the game and see what happens because I never make no predictions because if I make predictions, I'm wrong about them. So I always try to say if they do what they're supposed to do on offense, if their defense plays really well, that's the way we win.
Yeah. Jerry Yang, my man Jerry Yang, if Jerry can come on the show, that'd be great. I miss Jerry Yang. He was on vacation eating lots of delicious food. I saw his Instagram. He says, congrats, man. Exciting show with Randy Cross. Got to check that out. Yeah, you got to check that out. Just download the Relevant app. Actually, it was really a surprise. I through Instagram, because if you guys follow me on Instagram, a lot of you guys follow me on Twitter, but Instagram is usually like, I guess I can consider it Instagram influencer. Um, and that's what they labeled me as, and they reached out to me and said, hey, would you be willing to do this show? And I was like, okay, cool, yeah. I get these all the time, but I'm like, half of them are like, like, I'm not gonna do it. I said sure, let's look into it. So I looked into it. Let's talk about it. And so Tom McManus, you guys remember Tom McManus, the great linebacker from college, playing with the Jaguars and so forth. He broke his tackling record. Reached out to me, hey, look, like, I have, we're working on this app, you know what I mean, and we were wondering if you want to talk to Randy, because Randy put in a good word, and we asked him who he wanted to work with, and he chose me, so, I think it's better. I think we're better now. I think it was staticky for a little bit. All right, so I think we're good now. Let me know. Are we good now, John Jay?
Yeah, you're
All right,
good now.
so getting back to it. So yeah, Randy. So Tom McManus reached out to me. Long story short, and said, hey, Randy thought you'd be good to work with them, and so here we are. Here we are today, and he's like, would you be willing to work with Randy for? I was like, heck yeah, man. Me and Randy have a great working relationship, and he could have chose anyone. He chose me, so I was actually Randy Cross's first round pick. I'm very honored. He could have asked anyone. He literally could have asked anyone, and he chose me. So I'm very honored and blessed that Randy would even consider me. I was really taken away by that. And yeah, Randy, if you're watching, thank you so much, man. You mean a lot to me, and I can't thank you enough. So yeah, check it out. It's the Relevant app. We'll do an every 49-hour pregame show, and we talk about what to look forward to. And especially, he played the game. If anyone knows the game of the 49ers better than him, no one does, right? No one knows it better than Randy. So he breaks it down. Like, he will talk to you the ins and outs on everything, and he just like me, he knows the entire NFL. Like, he's really good and really smart about that. Thank you everyone for telling me that the static was horrible. They said good now. It's good now. But yeah, that's my story before interruptedly got shut off by Blue Yeti Nano. Gosh, this sucks. I see, obviously, you sent me a private chat, John Jay. I never look at these private chats. Maybe I should do that. And you said some audio issue. Thank you. All right, what else is on your mind, man? What is all you? It's been a while, so I want to talk to you. What else is on your mind?
The same old stuff. Just talking 49ers on my show. As the season comes to an end, the Niners for sure gonna probably play a playoff game. For sure. I'm not sure how far they're gonna go in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue to do content. I got some 3 new shows debuting this off season to continue with the content. Continue doing football. So that's the stuff that I'm gonna be doing. Things like that.
Good. Well, thank you so much, John Jay. And again, always a pleasure talking to you, my man, on the BWF.
All
right. That was John Jay from Fortnite's Ultimate Report. If you guys have any questions in regards to the live stream, the BWF, shoot them my way. Drop your comments. Let's talk football. John Zach says Thomas has been playing better last 2 weeks. I disagree with that. I broke it down on the last game where he was targeted 1 of 4 in that 42-yarder, if I'm not mistaken. I ran the grades on that. John Zach, go watch it. I had coaches film on that. I talked about those plays. Last game that he played against the Houston Texans, he did do better, but still some fundamental errors. I tweeted this out in real time, as well as running on some coaches film on that. So again, the broadcast view is great. You got to watch the coaches film because you can see leverage techniques, splits, how they should be playing. And again, a lot of things that I talk about you won't find anywhere else except for here in the BWF. And again, I don't like criticizing or praising a player totally until I run coaches film on every single snap played, which I've done on Ambry Thomas and Dio Lenore and Josh Norman and Jimmy Ward and Jaquoski Tart and Talanoa Hufanga. Talk about the secondary. All right. John Zach says, compared to camp, he's way better. Got jokes. What a diss to Ambry Thomas. No, I'm joking. Hey, the kid's young. The kid's young, but fundamentals are fundamentals at the end of the day. That's all I got to say about that. All right. So, again, if you guys have any questions, drop them here. Again, also, please do me a solid. You guys are watching this. You guys watch all my stuff. Like, share, comment. It does me a huge, helps me a lot, I should say. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Takes 1 second. It's free. Also, all the super chat and super stickers and tips on Twitter have been overwhelming. Thank you so much for everyone that were sending me those as well. Greatly appreciated. All right. Need a lot of questions. Let me see if we have any questions. Let me go on Twitter. A lot of you guys sending DMs on Twitter. Just let me toggle back and forth through the tabs here. All right, Wesley Brooks, my man. You guys know who Wesley Brooks is? Who's Wesley Brooks? Well, I'm going to give you a shout out, Wesley Brooks. Wesley Brooks is a guy who followed me back when I had my NinerFans.com website, which is what, 2012? 2012. And at the time, worked his way up. He's a college basketball coach, for you guys who don't know. He coached at Michigan, coached at Utah, and now he's at the Ohio State University. My man Wes. So he had a question, right? He was asking me. He says, "What do you think about Trey Lance?" And obviously coming out of Ohio State, he says he thinks C.J. Stroud is more polished than Trey. And I said, I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with it. People, who's C.J. Stroud? Quarterback of Ohio State. Can't disagree with that. Cannot disagree with that. Now, am I saying that Trey Lance is not better than... No, I'm not saying that. But polished, NFL ready, obviously. Obviously. All right. So we have some other questions on Twitter. Oh, man. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, I was at the gym. And I truthfully, I tweeted this out. I'm just going to repeat it on Twitter because I think everyone who is a gym goer, is a regular at the gym, you guys have to be nice and kind. Now, I know sometimes it's hard. Trust me. You're preaching to the choir. But this is what I said. I said, and I tweet. I don't say I quote. And I tweet. Working out at the gym and... Oh, sorry. Blah. Working out at the gym, and one thing I will say is that we need to be patient with newbies. You guys know what newbies are, right? New people, New Year's resolution. You guys get the story. Some may not have the etiquette one would expect. Don't be the reason someone decides to quit. Be the reason they stay. Be kind, be helpful, and raise them up. Hashtag BEASTwriter. Home of the good vibes only. Yes. Literally at the gym today, as I was running my Skull Crushers. If you guys don't know what Skull Crushers are, go look on my Instagram, my Fitspiration. I'm such a Fitspiration. It's funny. I posted a selfie from the gym with a sweatshirt because you guys know I'm sleeveless half the time. I don't like the I'm restricted. I mean, look, this is a large shirt and it's like restricting me. Not saying it's a medium. No, it's a large. Long story short, go look on my Instagram. Same thing as Twitter and YouTube, BEASTwriter. You guys can choose to follow me if you want. If not, go ahead and swipe left. It's all good. But I put up those. I was wearing a Russell throwback sweatshirt, those pullover hoodies. And I took a selfie and I said, you know what? This is proof that I do own shirts with sleeves. And so it was an XL. It was an XL. And so it's funny that I was wearing an XL in middle school. Small, short, Asian, scrawny kid wearing XL. And I said, you know what? You got to thank Allen Iverson for that because that's what got me into wearing baggy clothes. Thank Allen Iverson. Thank the Fab Five, Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, the black high tops, the Nikes. You guys remember those? Come on. Jimmy Jackson, Ray Jackson, Juwan Howard. You guys know what I'm talking about. Mitch Albom had a book called The Fab Five. Had to read that. I don't even like reading, but I read The Fab Five, Mitch Albom. That was a good book. And the recruitment scare with that, with Michigan State, and how they're trying to go after Chris Webber. And Fisher got him. Yeah, good book. Little did you know, they always went to Taco Bell and got free tacos. I wish I got free tacos back in college, man. I was a poor. Remember, we're all poor in college, man. Like, man, getting free tacos, that's like a lifesaver. Give me some free tacos at Taco Bell. Taco Supreme, ooh, hit the spot. But you'll be on the toilet for a lot of days too, though. I'm not gonna lie. But at the time, getting those steak quesadillas with the hot sauce, oh my gosh. The Nacho Bel Grande, holla. Man. 3 beef layer burrito, can't beat it. Now I want some Taco Bell. Give me some Taco Bell right now. Who does not like Taco Bell? I love Taco Bell. Taco Bell's the best. John Zach says self-explanatory skull crushers. Yeah, I was doing skull crushers. I don't know if it's so much self-explanatory because people will be like, "What are you crushing your skull, bro? What is a skull crusher?" A skull crusher is basically you're lying on your back and you're working out your tricep, right? So you're working against gravity, obviously, and you're bringing it forward. What happened is there's people dropping 25-pound dumbbells next to me left and right, and I'm on my back. And I'm like, man, if one of these guys drops the weight, it's going to be on my freaking head. Literally dropping weight. It sounds like a California earthquake. Tweeted this out in real time. And I said, pray for me. I'm in trouble. Beast is in trouble. I'm trying to get my beast gains in, and unfortunately, it's not working out. But I didn't go to the guy and say, hey, don't slam the weights, bro. Do you even know how to lift, bro? No. See, that would be a meathead. I douchebag. I don't know. I was just like, hey, like, so I just tell them politely, I don't think they know, how to I mean, they're new, we're all been there before. So I was like, hey, like, how you doing? Like you open it up, like have a conversation. Hey, how you doing today? Oh, I'm good. Oh, you must be new because I don't see you. Oh yeah, I'm new. Okay, cool. Then you just let them know, like, yeah, like, just make sure, like, and then you show them. You don't just be like, hey, bro, get out of this gym, man. You're gonna hurt somebody. There are people like that, and I'm like, bro, cool your tits, bro. Like, just calm down. Take a chill pill. Corey Brown says chicken quesadilla. Oh man. Okay. I am a fatty at heart. I love to eat food. Maybe that's why I work out so much. Literally, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys know how I like to eat. I even have a VIP account with In-N-Out. Not joking. I literally have a VIP In-N-Out account with them. Literally, that's how much I go to In-N-Out. They even send me Christmas card in the mail for Christmas. Like, who does that? Like, I don't know anyone who gets a Christmas card from In-N-Out. Literally, legit In-N-Out. I go there so often. And you guys know my order. 4x4, extra toasted bun, no salt on the patties. Fry extra well. Make sure it's extra crispy. Delicious. I don't get animal style fries. I don't do that. The reason for it is because it gets soggy really quick and I can't eat it. So what you do is, if you want to do it, just ask for it on the side. You're good to go. But chicken quesarito, delicious. I like chicken quesaritos. I also like, and they used to do this at Chipotle. All right, I'm not joking with you. I'm not joking. When I had NinerFans.com, I have my shirts made at Great Mall. And you guys, if you guys live here in the South Bay, you guys know what Great Mall is, obviously. Who doesn't know what Great Mall is here in Milpitas? But I remember I'd go to Chipotle and I get a quesadilla. The guy said, hey, you should get a quesarito. We come here a lot. I was like, what's a quesarito? He's like, well, it's like a quesadilla, but it's like a burrito. I was like, okay, so what's the difference? He's like, well, we kind of just like put that little, like, I don't know what you call it, that little freaking iron thing. It's not an iron thing, that little freaking thing that you push down like a panini. And yeah, we'll make a quesarito out of it. It's like, okay, great. Now, fast forward to today, 4 years later, did you know that, well, this Chipotle does, I swear. The one on Great Mall, they charge you to make a quesarito. In fact, they charge you the one on Brokaw too. Literally, I asked for a quesarito. The lady looked at me like I was like crazy. She's like, nah, dude, I'm not going to make a quesarito. I'm like, oh, you guys don't do that anymore? And she's like, we do, but we charge extra for that. I'm like, what, for an extra 10 seconds of your time to make a quesarito? Like, are you serious? I don't know. I don't know if she's having a bad day. I don't know if anyone works at Chipotle and can give me the answer, but literally they were going to charge me extra, what is it, $2.50 to make a quesarito. Literally it takes, not joking, probably 30 seconds more. All they have to do is just put it down, and I'm not joking. If anyone knows the answer to that as you're watching this live or post-live, let me know. Yeah, but quesaritos are an extra charge as far as I was told. And I was like, extra $2.50 for 30 seconds of your time. I like a quesarito, but not that much. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Peter Moss says only cool kids slam weights. Yeah, the slamming weights thing is something, and it's funny because then you see some guys who are newer to the gym, and I'm not one to like. You always have those guys that just try to flex on you, or like I don't know why. I mean, here I am in a sweatshirt. I don't care, whatever. I just want to get my gains in and leave. I'm already tired from my workout and my pre-workout, which is not pre-workout, the drink, but actually have a pre-workout before the workout. Terry Crews reference. No. If you guys saw the Terry Crews episode, if you guys watched My Wife and Kids and you saw the Damon Wayans, awesome. Loved watching that in high school. Damon Wayans was awesome. And they had this thing on, I just got a email from someone at YouTube. Anyways, good news, not bad news. But anyways, here we go, and where it's out. Terry Crews and Damon Wayans, and we're talking about this. And in high school, I remember watching it, and Terry Crews is like doing these weird. Go YouTube it after this is done. Like there's an episode, My Wife and Kids, and you will see Terry Crews doing these legit workouts. It's really funny, and if you go on Instagram, they're called gym fails. And you see these people just doing outlandish things. It's crazy funny things. And I'm gonna save the entertainment for that. But go watch it. It's hilarious. Terry Crews, awesome. You guys said, who's Terry Crews? He was also in Draft Day. You guys remember that? He was Ray Jennings' dad. He's Cleveland royalty. Remember the movie Draft Day? Kevin Costner, Jennifer Gardner. Come on. Chad Boswick. Jerry Yang says, don't call a timeout like Weber from Fab 5. Oh, mean. I remember watching that game. It was the championship game, right? The reason why I was so into that year was because Rex Walters, Bay Area grown Rex Walters, Bay Area rooted Rex Walters, grew up in the same town I did, in J-Town here in San Jose, played at Kansas, made it to the Final Four with Adonis Jordan. How do I remember this? Because I remember as a kid, it's like, man, I want to be like Rex Walters, number 23. Yeah, they had Adonis Jordan and so forth. But, in that Fab 5 game, also a fan of, obviously, Michigan. That was my team. Jalen Rose, and again, the guys I just mentioned, Ray Jackson, Jimmy Jackson, Juwan Howard, obviously, Chris Webber. Yeah, that was fun to watch. The timeout, if you guys don't remember the timeout that Chris Webber had no timeouts, and he was like, I'm going out of bounds, and I'm just going to call timeout. Oh, no timeouts. Okay, game over. And Eric Montross, 00 was all happy. Who else was on that team? George Lynch. I think George Lynch was on that team. Who else was on that team for North Carolina? Gosh, that was back in the day. Dean Smith was the head coach, right? Wasn't Dean Smith the head coach? It was a while ago, but yeah, I just remember Eric Montross, and then I think he got drafted by the Boston Celtics or somewhere. And then who did Kansas have? Did Kansas have Greg Ostertag? You guys remember Greg Ostertag? I don't know why I'm naming like former NBA players. Like this is the NFL live stream, and we talk about fitness. That's why the logo is hello. You see the football, but then you see the shield, and then you see the barbell. That's what the BWF is all about. Football and fitness, that way we do. All right. So, yeah, Eric Montross. I'm not trying to cheat here. Eric Montross, George Lynch. Who was else? Who was the point guard on that team? Damn. I want to say it's not, but I'm just going to ramble here just to kind of re-jog my memory. I remember Gunther had Ed Cota at the time. You guys don't remember who Ed Cota? I think he was like one of the all-time assist guy. If you want to talk about dropping dimes, Ed Cota, number 5. One of my favorite players growing up. But he wasn't on that team in 94 or 93. I think it was 93. Who else was on that team? Gosh, dang it. I remember that year simply because I remember going to, and you guys can Google this, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember going to the Pizza Hut down the street, which no longer exists, and they were giving out Final Four basketballs. I vividly remember this. It was a black basketball, and it had like the whole 90s theme, you know, the crazy colors, the lime green, the purple, kind of like the theme of like a Michael Jordan throwback shoe. All right. And I remember bringing that to my Santa Clara basketball camp at the time. Of course, Steve Nash was playing there along with, I believe it was Darren Lewis. I think it was Darren Lewis. And I was, during that year, I was named Santa Clara basketball camp MVP of the year or something like that. Or, yeah, that was that year. Have the plaques to prove it. Oh, were you? Yeah, I was also the free throw champ. Felt really cool. Santa Clara basketball camp was fun. Stanford camp was better as I got older, in the high potential basketball camp. But getting back to it, yeah, Chris Webber for the Fab Five. Can't forget it. Can't forget it. The timeout. No timeouts left, bro. That's called clock management and being smart. He will never live that down. Everyone remembers Chris Webber for the timeout. Everyone. Corey Brown says, I live in New York and they took it off our menus too. Okay, so I'm not lying. They took off the quesarito in New York, and they took it off in California. Why would they do that? What are we doing? As Julian Edelman will say on Inside the Net, what are we doing? Like, some of us like quesaritos, okay? Is that a problem? Man, who does not like quesarito? I love Mexican food, but Mexican food is my guilty pleasure. I swear. Maybe because I went to San Diego State. I love Mexican food. Literally, that's my number one go-to spot. And yeah, people say, oh, well, aren't you part Japanese? Don't you like sushi? I'm like, dude, I love sushi, but nothing beats, I'm telling you. You go to Mexico, oh my gosh, game on. I'm telling you, nothing like it. And you guys know how I feel about the carne asada fries during COVID. Had that like every single day at Taqueria Lorena's. We talked about this here on my live stream on 13th Street here in San Jose. This is not a sponsored ad. I'm just telling you what the good carne San Diego fries are, because I went to San Diego State. It's right there off 13th Street. I'm telling you right now. No better fries. Now, if you want like homemade tamales with the masa, oh, now we're talking. You get that around the holidays. Stuff is good. Holla at your boy. I am a sucker for the jalapeno cheese ones. Pork is good too. Can't beat it. Jerry Yang says Terry Crews equals allspice guy. Yes. And maybe that's why I use allspice. And maybe that's why I'm bald, because of Terry Crews. I don't know. Terry Crews is hilarious. I love Terry Crews. Great guy. As if I know him. I don't. John Zach says, how many sets is too many for biceps in a session? Hey, I always overload the body. I mean, what your body can handle is what you are. You know what I mean? Like Kobe Bryant overtrained, Lance Armstrong overtrained, Michael Jordan overtrained, Jerry Rice overtrained, I overtrained. Look, people look at me and say, look, dude, you're doing 30 sets of bench press. Are you kidding me? You're overtraining your body. And I look at them and be like, yeah, but the results speak for themselves. You know, I take first place because I know I put my body through the grinder, because when prep comes around, that's the easy part. The hard part is getting that mind-muscle connection that I always talk about on Instagram in my post. The mind-muscle connection. You talk about sets, you know, in the name of gains, right? Okay, like some people say, oh, it's overtraining. Okay, but it works for me. You know what I'm saying? The Patriots formula works for them. Whatever works for you. If you're winning, you're winning. Like, I don't care what anyone says. So I overtrain. So I say, obviously, if it's sore the next day, you got a good workout. If it's not sore the following day, that means you didn't get a good workout. It's not like DOMS, right? DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, right? From when you hit legs. People go, what's DOMS? DOMS is delayed onset muscle soreness that you get from leg day because of lactic acid buildup. That's why you need to foam roll, guys. See, we're talking about fitness right now. We're talking about earlier. We talked about in and out. We're covering all our bases here. That's what we get. What are you getting in the BWF? I don't know, but I know I'm getting a good time. All right. So no, in getting back to your question, and give this a thumbs up. People are like, nah, I'm going to dislike this freaking video. This guy is a douchebag. Bro, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Whatever. John Zach says, how many sets is too many for biceps a session? Look, I do curls. So I start off with regular curls, right? And there's pronation and supination, right? So I like having my palms facing out because I think you're activating the bicep more. Tricep, you're not working on a tricep. The bicep more. Look, when you flex, watch this. I never had this before. All right, this is like, well, can you see now? Okay, if you just turn it, I don't know if you guys can see that, but if you turn that, right, this is just me twisting my arm, like waving, like I'm a pageant, and I'm in a freaking New Year's parade, like, hey, how are you doing? And you just, hello, I would like a cup of tea. Taking it back to Princess Diaries, where they had to use my grandparents' electricity in San Francisco. For those who don't know, you watch Princess Diaries? You guys seen that? Yeah, well, they had to use my grandparents' electricity. Yeah, and they own a freaking apartment complex that they had to use not only the electricity, they had to use the view. Gorgeous view. Not joking. In Russian Hill. You guys know what Russian Hill is? That's the district I grew up in. All right, anyways, getting back to it. Like a pageant. No, literally when you do bicep curls, you can do a variety. You can look it up on Instagram. You can look it up on YouTube. A lot of fitspirations. I like doing all types of variations. I am not going to say one is better than the other because I think that's BS. I think they all work, but more importantly, I think you have to tailor it to your body. For instance, maybe some people are not good at doing open-ended bicep curls or doing preacher curls, right? So you can do hammer curls, like a hammer, regular curls, open-ended curls, preacher curls with an easy curl bar. Now people are like, what's an easy curl bar? I haven't heard of an easy curl bar before. Well, an easy curl bar is a bar that just looks like, I don't know how to explain it. It looks like a squiggly line bar. That's an easy curl bar. You guys can use that. All right. So John Zach says, so as far as sets, you know how many sets I do? I do at least 25 sets. I at least do 25 sets of biceps. Not joking. It's on my Instagram. Don't believe me? I do 4 or 5. I used to do 6, 8-hour workouts. I'm not joking. Not joking. And you guys know this on Instagram. You guys follow me on Instagram. You guys know how I roll. I can go on. I can burn 1,000 calories in under an hour. Literally. On the Stairmaster. I always say step up your bay game. I'm not joking. It's up there. Go look at my highlights on Instagram. Don't believe me. I mean, when I'm on, I'm on. I'm like a freaking Brahma bull. Like The Rock. So 3 sets, I think that's too little, man. I think 3 sets is a warm-up. Now, I'm not going to give you that type of advice without working with you, right? With my clients, when I personal train people and personal train clients, I always say, okay, we have to have some kind of consultation. So, but to be honest with you, 3 exercises or 3 sets per set, that's only 15. It's only 15 sets total. I would say, no, that's not enough. I would say you have to do a little bit more than that. Now, if you're doing a push-pull day, we can talk about that and how you're splitting it up. You're splitting up your workouts on a push day as compared to a pull day. Maybe, but I still would want you to do more exercises than three sets of 3 workouts, a 3x3. I would like you to do a lot more than that. But, hey, again, I can't give you that advice without working with you and knowing your work capacity. It comes down to work capacity, because if you do a lot of sets and you're tired after the second, third set, there's no point in going any further because your muscles are already exhausted. You got to train your body to do what it can't do so that way you can make those gains. No pain, no gain. But at the same time, you got to be smart about it because you can get hurt. Jerry Yang says, bro, you caught up on Cobra Kai yet? Need to do a show with you and Mike reviewing that if you did. Yeah, I watched Cobra Kai. And if you guys don't watch, this is a spoiler alert. So if you guys, we're talking about Cobra Kai, we were talking about Squid Game on Netflix. These are all Taco Bell, In-N-Out. What else can we talk about? I don't know. Inside the NFL, my favorite show of all time. If you're watching Inside the NFL, hello, Paramount Plus. These are all not sponsored, by the way. But getting back to Cobra Kai and Netflix. Again, if you guys are tuning in right now and you guys haven't seen Cobra Kai, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but I did watch Cobra Kai. In fact, I watched it now I'm on the second season. I'm on the second season right now, and I love Cobra Kai. If you guys haven't seen Cobra Kai on Netflix, you guys got to watch that. Not a paid promotion, I'm just saying, got to watch it. Who doesn't like Cobra Kai? I did watch it. I think Terry Silver is back. That's not a spoiler alert. I mean, I think everyone knew that he was coming back based on the trailer. Oh, he's back. Oh my gosh, you ruined the freaking Cobra Kai for me. It's like, dude, come on, bro. Calm down. Calm down. But yeah, it's awesome. John Zach says, let's do a show. I'm down. I'm down, Jerry, to do a show with you. I'm always down, bro. I'll do a show right now. Right now at 9:28 p.m. Pacific time. I'm down to do it. I'm down to do it. John Zach says, it's cramping 3/4 through workout. Okay, well then if that's the case, then you got to stop. It also can mean that you're not getting enough electrolytes in. It could be that you're not getting enough potassium in your body for the pre-workout. That's why I talk about this when I work with athletes. The pre-workout meal and what you eat before you go into that workout is fuel for your body. You got to time sensitive these things out, so when you hit the gym, those gains are going to be doubling down tenfold. It's like doubling down in blackjack. Hey man, if you're not having enough fuel in your body, you're not going to get gains in. And so many times over, I see people just drinking bottled water. It's like, no, man, you shouldn't be drinking water. You should be drinking branched chain amino acids. Like all my clients take branched chain amino acids that I personal train and online coach. Girls, guys, don't matter. I'm a firm believer in branched chain amino acids. Now you can get it essentially from food, but let's face it. Are you going to have a full-on meal in between your set and be like, hold on, I need to get 6 egg whites right now and replenish my essential amino acids. I need those branched chain amino acids. I need to take this. No, I'm not going to take a supplement because supplements are bad. It's like, no, dude, like get with times. They're not bad. Not all of them. BCAAs is I don't know. You need BCAAs. All right. So like if you're not getting enough branched chain amino acids in your system throughout your workout, you're going to get tired faster. That's why for me, being Evogen athlete and Evogen sponsored, but this is not a sponsored paid post. That's why I take AminoJect, for all who don't know. All right. And again, we talk about BCAAs and how you want a 2-1-1 ratio. Leucine to isoleucine to valine. All right. The leucine is going to give you that MPS, the muscle protein synthesis. Again, there's not enough people out there, especially in the NFL, that I see that are teaching their players things to eat, things to get, supplements to take. I just don't see it. I just don't see enough of it. And then you wonder why people like Tom Brady last a long time. Well, they take care of their bodies. They eat the right foods. They do the right things. They train the right way. John Zach says, Paramount been on some BS freezing. I didn't know about that. It's not freezing for me. I'll have it on in the background, actually. I'm watching Julian Edelman right now. Julian Edelman's awesome. Bay Area rooted kid. One of my favorite wide receivers of all time. Small, diminutive, yet shifty. Always talk about this on my live streams and on Twitter. I like these shifty guys. Is he vertically challenged, as GM Trent Baalke would say when I described Brandon Cooks during that 2014 NFL draft? Is he a Steve Smith? Jerry Yang says, haha, bit late for me to do a show, but thank you for being generous with your time as always. Catch you next time. Yeah, it is kind of late, and you have kids to put to bed. All right. I agree. Wait, what? This popped up on Twitter. All right, anyways, Roy Doan says, do you think Lawrence Fields Wilson would have more success under Shanahan's situation as Lance? Justin Fields, yes. Zach Wilson, yes. Trevor Lawrence, I don't know. I think he's a bust. I said he was a bust. I said it since day one. Look at my tweets. Look at my live streams in real time. I said, I think he's a bust. Now prove me wrong. I think Trevor Lawrence is just struggling. I mean, I didn't see a generational talent in Trevor Lawrence. I didn't see that. John Zach says, Paramount keeps saying error 3005. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on there. But that's pretty much it. Clint Parsons says, the beast. You know what's funny, Clint Parsons, is my pledge bro in my fraternity, Phi Kappa Psi. You guys can see that. Yes, I got inked up at San Diego State, obviously. His name is Clinton Parsons. And by the way, are you related to Micah Parsons? I always ask that because sometimes people say, yeah. that's my cousin. But I don't really know if it's the. No, actually, you do the research and then you'll find out. Oh, that really was his cousin. Yeah, there's a lot of. I know a lot of Parsons. Michelle Parsons, who I went to high school with. Clinton Parsons at San Diego State. Now I know Clint Parsons, not Clinton Parsons. Now I know Clint Parsons. He says the beast. Yeah. So, anyways, that's pretty much going to wrap up this live stream. John Zach says, Rookie of the Year, Parsons. Yep. What I say in my tweets, check the beast receipts, as I always like to say, in real time. Don't be a FFF, flip-flop, or fake. You'll never find that here in the BWF. I'll never say something in real time and then switch the analysis in hindsight. I hate that. I think you lose credibility that way, and you should lose credibility that way. That's why I challenge everyone who follows people that are influencers on Twitter, Instagram. I say screenshot what they say and then put it back on them when they switch their analysis. I'm not afraid to do it. Shoot, I call myself out when I'm wrong, which is not very often, but I do it. Not afraid to do it. Track record speaks for itself for the last decade. But I did say, another one, beast receipt that checks out, that Micah Parsons, Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's my pick. And I'll repost it once he gets it. Also said that he was my number 4 ranked guy on my big board. When most people had him in the 7, 8, even 10. Some even had him outside the 10 of these NFL insider analysts out there. Nut check crossing off another beast receipt. Just saying. And if you guys wanted to know what I had to say about Micah Parsons, early in the draft process, and a lot of Carolina Panthers fans were following me here on YouTube live stream and on YouTube and subscribing to my channel, I said, you know what, Micah Parsons could be your selection at number 8. And I talked about the reasons why I thought he would be a good fit for the Carolina Panthers and Phil Snow's defensive scheme. Talked about Jeremy Chin. Of course, now they have Hassan Reddick. You already had Brian Burns there. A lot of pieces in place there. Derek Brown. Who? Yeah, remember Derek Brown at Auburn? Generational talent by some. Okay. He did pick up a sack, I believe, in the last game, though. I'm not mistaken. I think he did. But yeah, here we are today. Let's love talking about the NFL, man. Could talk about any team blind. Let's just do it. Just do it. Well, I think that's going to be it for this live stream. I hope all you guys liked what I had to say. If you did, please hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time. Thank you so much for tuning in to this live stream. Retweet it, share. And again, mahalo for everyone that's been supporting me on Twitter with the tips and donations and here on YouTube with the super chat and super stickers. I'll be back tomorrow doing another live stream, so get your questions ready as we discuss all things NFL. Again, thank you so much. Have a blessed day. BEASTwriter out.